Hey, what's up, everybody? Some more early games and another late start. Had some more issues today. Still trying to get some of it worked through as I'm recording. So, on the screen, I got the games today. Got one starting in a little over an hour, and then another one hour and a half after that. So, gonna try to rush through this real quick so that I can get it put out in time for you. So we'll get on the next. We'll have the lines real quick, and then we'll go through each game. This is the model versus market for the first 5 games today. Um, like I said, I will go through each game individually. Sometimes I may not agree with the game, with what the model saying. So it depends on injuries, things like that. So if you haven't listened before, I will go through what the model sees and all of that for each individual game. There's the rest of those games. If you just want to look real quick at what the model is saying versus the market, not actually listen to anything, this will be the rest of those games. So let me get going with the recap now. We'll go through the games from yesterday for a quick little recap. Brooklyn, Chicago. The model had Chicago by 4.8, and the over or had the total at 215.9. The market had Chicago by 6.5, and the total at 220.5. So if you watched the video yesterday, I did say I thought Chicago would get the spread. That was one of my favorite picks. They easily covered that one by 22, and it ended up hitting the over. So the model was wrong on both of those. For the next game, Charlotte, it had Charlotte winning by 3, and the total at 230. So it had the over and Charlotte on the spread. Charlotte hit the spread. It was under. So I got the spread on that one. The next game, it got the spread and it also got the total. It had New Orleans by 2.7 and 221.5 on the total. It was a 9-point win and it just came under that total. So got both of those. Orlando and Memphis, it got the Memphis spread and it was wrong on the total. It had 2 points under on the total. It went over by 4 or by 3.5. I thought Orlando was going to cover the spread, but the model was right here. Then Memphis came out blazing. Ja Morant just couldn't be stopped. Hit threes, assists. I think he had 9 assists, maybe even 10 in the first half. There was one point where it was 8 of 16 for three for Memphis and 1 of 11 for Orlando in the second quarter. Rough start over there, both games. Um, Next game, Portland and Sac. They had right on the line, 2.5 for Sac, 2 points on the under. It was spot on the total, but did not get the spread on that. I thought Sacramento was going to win. Avdia and what was it? Kamara came out hot in that game, and they had different different plans for that. Toronto and LA. Model had LA, and it had the total at 226. 2 over the total, so wrong on the total. Got the spread on that one. So looks like we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the spreads, and totals were bad again. So let's get on to the games. So the first game, the early game, is going to be Milwaukee and Atlanta. Just how they've been doing recently. We got Milwaukee at 8-14 on the road, 1-4 in their last 5, 5-5 in their last 10. Atlanta 7-12 at home. They're 2-3 in their last 5 and 5-5 also in their last 10. They haven't played each other yet. Last I saw, Dyson Daniels was questionable. They may have the full injury report out now. I haven't seen it yet though. Nothing new for Milwaukee on the injury side. So it's leaning on the Milwaukee spread side and the underside. The model is from the market. It started on the Atlanta side, about 5.5 points. It flipped real quick to Milwaukee on day 3, gained a few points on day 5, and now it's back to about 2 points for Milwaukee. So if Daniels doesn't play, I would definitely be on the Milwaukee side, I think. But if he's in there, I think it's going to be a pretty even game. I think Atlanta will probably get a little bump because provides quite a bit of rebounds, assists, all of it. So good defense. And it has gone down on the total all week long. So it started out about the same as where they have it right now. So again, they got some streaky shooters, especially on the Milwaukee side. They can put up a lot of points. They can go ice cold. So I'm not sure I would really have a favorite on the market side. I think I would lean on the Milwaukee, at least on the spread if it's still at 2.5. All right, now we got two of the better teams in the league. Got Oklahoma City going to Cleveland. Oklahoma City Oklahoma City is at 15-5 on the road. They're 4-1 in their last five and 7-3 in their last 10. Cleveland is 14-10 at home, 3-2 in their last five, and also 7-3 in their last 10. They haven't played each other yet either. Last I saw the injury report, looked like Jalen Williams, J-Dub, is out. Hartenstein's still out for Oklahoma City. And then on the Cleveland side, it looked like Merrill and Garland were out, and Dean Wade was probable. Garland being out and J-Dub for Oklahoma City, those are pretty big pieces, both in the offense and in the defense side a little bit, especially on uh, Jalen Williams. He gets a lot of rebounds for well, I guess he is a forward, but he does pretty good on the boards, assists. He opens up that offense. They're still a pretty good team, but without Hartenstein, that hurts them on the defensive side too. So Donovan Mitchell, SGA, I could see both of them having some pretty decent games today, just with the pieces that are out and how they kind of fill those voids. The market has Oklahoma City by 5, or the model does. The market had them at 6.5, and it was slightly on the overside. So for the model, um, I think I might lean a little on the overside. I think their defense might struggle a little bit more with the missing pieces, and I think they may end up having a lot of 3-point shots going up today. Both, especially Cleveland, they love to shoot it, and Oklahoma City, some of those bench players that might see a little more time are pretty good. Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, the other one. So I think I would probably, man, I don't know. I'm not sure on the spread on this. Oklahoma City should win, I would think, but Cleveland's a really good team. So if they can find a way to stop SGA, then they might be able to pull this one out. The next game we got is the Clippers going to Washington. Clippers are 7-14 on the road. They are 5-0 in their last five and 8-2 in their last 10. They've been playing really well. Washington 6-13 at home. They are 0-5 in their last five. They're 0-6 in their last six. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They haven't done anything since the trade. They've lost by 13 plus in five, and then the last game they lost by 6 points. So there are no new injuries that I saw for Washington, and it looked like Leonard was still out for the Clippers. So that is a hit to their offensive side and to their defensive side. He's a good all-around player, but puts a lot more on Harden. And the model has the over a little bit. I think with Leonard out, I see why it's bumped down. They also have it at a 7.5 point favorite. The model had it at 6. But as you can see throughout the week, the spread has been getting bigger. It started at 1 point, went up to 6.5, down to 5.5, 6.5, 5 or 6. So it's been hanging right around that 6.5 point mark for the last 5 days. And the total's gone up a little bit. It's gone from 221 early in the week, went up pretty quick on day 3 to 227, and it's now at 230. So it does like the over. It even went up a little bit with Kawhi being out in the last game too. So maybe the over is a good way to look. Um, it has it slightly on the Washington spread side. I don't see that happening. I think the Clippers, even on the road, I think they should be able to take care of Washington pretty easily. Dallas and New York. The model actually likes Dallas by 1 point in this. Dallas is 4-14 on the road. They are 3-2 in their last five and 5-5 in their last 10. New York is 16-5 at home, 1-4 in their last five, and 2-8 in their last 10. They do have one head-to-head. Um, New York won 113 to 111 in Dallas, so it was a close one. Looks like New York will probably get Hart and Brunson in the game today. I know Brunson's been out for a little while. They had the questionable flag on him. Also, Cooper Flag has a questionable flag on him. And then Gafford and Washington look like they are out for Dallas. So some bigs out for Dallas. Obviously, Davis has been out, so it might be a good day to look at Karl Anthony Towns if he can actually stay out of foul trouble and play inside. He should get the rebounds today. Um, Points if he goes inside that pick and roll with Brunson, that should be wide open. So the market has New York at 10.5. The model obviously very, very slightly point two on the Dallas side, and it's down on the totals. But if Brunson comes back, that should be a bump for New York, not only on the points for them, but overall on the total too should go up. Um, so started out New York, and as they've been struggling, it has flipped to Dallas. And right now, like I said, it's pretty much even right there. So you're looking at the injuries are going to be the main thing in this. The injuries aren't baked into the model. They only you'll see the differences after players miss a couple games. That way the rest days and all of that aren't affecting the predictions too much. You can get a good solid prediction from day 1 through day 7 on how the team is performing, not just the individual players. Now we got the Spurs and the Jazz. This is one of the biggest spreads I think I've seen all season long. 16.5 points is what they have it at. Last I saw, Markkinen is out. Isaiah Collier, or however you say his name, was questionable for the Jazz. Obviously, Markkinen's a huge hit on Utah's scoring and rebounding. Then San Antonio only had Devin Vassell out. I didn't see anyone else as questionable or anything like that. Utah's 5-16 on the road, 1-4 in the last five, and 2-8 in the last 10. Been struggling quite a bit. And then San Antonio is 15-5 at home, 2-3 in their last five, but 6-4 in their last 10. Utah does have the one head-to-head win. They won 127 to 114 in San Antonio earlier this year, but San Antonio was more banged up at that point. Now Utah's a little more banged up. So San Antonio obviously is the better team. Pretty high total, almost 240. So the model's liking slightly on the underside, and it likes Utah to cover the spread. I try to stay away from any spread that is that big. Just it's the NBA, you never know what can happen. Um, San Antonio should definitely easily win the game. I'm not sure if there's a decent line under that you could adjust it to that you would like. Then the over under, I could see this game. Obviously, Utah still has players that can put up points, but I could see San Antonio getting a big lead and just sitting on it. I think that's a pretty high total, even though the first game did go to 241. So maybe they're trying to base it off of that, but I think I would probably lean on the underside as my favorite on this one. Now we got the Indiana and Philly game, and last I saw, Embiid and George were both questionable. So that's going to be the biggest key to this game. If they both play, I like what the model's saying. I think Philly will cover the spread. It's right there on the same total. So I think with the total, you're looking more at can Indiana score today, and if Embiid and George are playing. Indiana obviously sat Siakam and Nemhard last game against Detroit and got blown out. So it's still the total went up. It didn't go down, which is kind of surprising. So I think that it's pretty confident in that range. So if you think it might be a little bit under that, maybe adjust up a couple points, take the under, maybe just down a couple points, take the over. I think you should be able to get a good line at wherever you're thinking. They do have one game in the past they played earlier this season. Philly won 115 to 105, so it was about 8 points under on that game. That was back in December. Indiana does play worse on the road, even though they're bad most everywhere because of their injuries. They're 2-17 on the road. They're 2-3 in their last five, 4-6 in their last 10. Phillies 10-11 at home, 2-3 in their last five, and 6-4 in their last 10. So at home, especially if Embiid and George play, I definitely would take them. 7.5 seems like a pretty small spread. I think that if they go to and show that they are going to play, that'll probably jump up quite a bit. The total will probably go up too because that'll give Maxey more options to dish it off to. Him and Embiid have been working really well recently, so I would wait for the injury report on that game though, if you're trying to go too aggressive on it. All right, now we got Phoenix and Brooklyn. I don't honestly understand why this has Brooklyn favored. It looks like it was going in the right direction on day 4, and then for some reason it bumped Brooklyn back up and Phoenix down. I know around that time, the best I could find is the rolling averages. Brooklyn scored 112, and they had some sub 100 games fall off in different categories. So I think it kind of bumped their total expectation back up. But I would expect Phoenix to win. 8.5 points for them is pretty big. Michael Porter Jr. will be back, so him being at home, he's normally good for 3 or 4 threes. Keep him in the game. It will depend on if he can get the roll support today. Phoenix has been playing better defensively this year than they have, so I would expect Phoenix to win. I think they can probably cover the spread. The biggest difference in this between the market and the model is the total. So the market has 216.5, and the model's expecting more points. So if you a lot of times, like I've said, in these games, one side will be pretty close, the other side will be a little farther off. And this might be one of those situations where Phoenix is going to score around the 111, and Brooklyn might be, from the market looking, about 10 points less, maybe like a 111-104 game or something. Um, Phoenix is 11-12 on the road, 3-2 in their last 5, 6-4 in their last 10. There's no head-to-head season this season. Brooklyn 6-15 at home, but they're 1-4 in their last 5, 2-8 in the last 10. Booker was questionable last I saw, and the only new information I saw was obviously Porter rested yesterday, but he should be back today. Now we got Boston going to Detroit. They've actually played 3 times already. Detroit's got 2 of the wins. Boston has 1. Detroit did win in Detroit, but that was beginning of the season. They won 119-113. The last 2 games have been in Boston, late November and mid December. Boston won by 3, 117-114, and Detroit won 112-105. Each game, the total has gone down that they've faced each other, and the spread started at 6, went to 3, and back to 7. So right there, within 7 points on each side. Started heavier on Detroit this week. Had Detroit at 3.5, went to 4.5, got up to 6, but right now it only has Detroit as a 1 point favorite. The model has Detroit at the 1. The market has them at 3.5, and then the totals are right there, 1 point under for the model. So it's liking it pretty close. Most of the games this season though have the last game was under. It was 217. The other 2 games were right around the 230 mark. So Pritchard is questionable. Um, so that'll obviously hurt Boston a little bit if he can't play. Detroit, I looked like they had a clean injury report, so they should be firing at home. They're 16-4. They're 4-1 in their last 5, and 6-4 in their last 10. Boston's 14-8 away, 3-2 in their last 5, 7-3 in their last 10. So good teams play tough against each other. Should be a good game. I wouldn't expect it to get away from either team. I think if you wanted to play either team at plus points, you would probably be pretty good at that. I think I would probably lean on the under, but that's tough because Duncan Robinson for Detroit can get hot. Cade obviously can get a lot of people involved, especially when Duren's playing. They got the pick and roll going. And then Boston can just shoot lights out with people. If Derek White gets hot, Anthony Simons gets hot, Jaylen Brown, all of them can put up a lot of points quick, even if Pritchard doesn't play. The last game is going to be Miami and Golden State. The model likes Golden State in this one, 115-107. Miami is 7-13 on the road, but they did just win in Oklahoma City. They're 2-3 in their last five, 5-5 in their last 10. Golden State 16-6 at home, 4-1 in their last five, 7-3 in their last 10. So they've been playing pretty well. Miami was playing pretty well. Then they had that game canceled, struggled for a few, and then they looked pretty good last game. So looks like they'll probably have Davion Mitchell and Jaquez back today, but they're going to be without a hero. And then Golden State looked like Draymond was probable, so they should have full roster for their game tonight. The model started with a closer spread, got all the way up 10 for Golden State, and it's in at 8.5 right now on the model, and the market is 5.5. So the model likes Golden State to cover by 3, but they're way under on the total. So this is a game that I would expect one or both of the sides is probably going to be off on the score a little bit. The spreads tend to stay pretty close to what it's won when the totals shift, but at least if it's on the right side. Obviously, it misses games here and there. It's nothing's going to be perfect, but a lot of times when it shifts, everything kind of shifts together. It's just a higher total. Not sure what it's seen that is so low. They did have one prior game. Miami won 110-96, but that was back in November, but a very low total. So that could be some of the influence. Could be opponent matchups. I didn't see anything justify such a low total, but the model's seeing something there. Like I said, I wouldn't really trust that. I think in this one, I would go with Golden State to probably cover, especially without Hero. So that would be my pick on this game. And that's everything I got for today. Didn't put together a favorite pick slide. I went 1-2 yesterday. Pretty rough. Missed Orlando, got Chicago, and then Sacramento. Man, Abdia came out pretty hot. I was hoping he wasn't gonna play, but he came out pretty hot, and Sacramento just couldn't catch up in that game. So if you're using it, like I said, remember injuries are not baked into this. So look at the injury report, try to figure out how you think those will affect the model. If they've been out for at least 5 days, then you should be good. But if it's a recent injury or someone coming back, you're gonna want to try to figure out how you think they affect the game. So if you're going, good luck today. I hope you hit something, and I'll try to get out a better and earlier video tomorrow.